Loading. We are live. Hi, Mark. How are you?
Hi, Andrew.
We're in English today. I was just thinking, how should I be addressing you? How are you feeling today? How's your week been?
It's been all right, actually. It's been, good. My foot's a lot better. I've got my last x-ray tomorrow, and I should be up and running around and back in football training, getting ready to break the other one.
That's not what I wanted to hear. And how are you all at home? Hi, people. Good to see you. So this week we decided to talk about our tours in the UK, because obviously we're based here in Germany, which is great. But it's nice to get back for some chips every now and again, get back to see our families and get back to dip into the music scene back home, the scenes that we originated from. So I don't know, Mark, how long have we been doing that for?
Pretty much since the beginning. Like, I know it's got to be up more than, it's got to be, I don't know, it's like probably 12 years, 13 years. We've been playing for 15, or am I wrong?
I think maybe 2007 was the first one. So that would have been like the second year of our existence of a band. Right. We decided to go over. So, yeah. So obviously the first thing is getting there. We're in southwest Germany, right on kind of near the French border. So it's a long way even to get to a harbour. I remember the first kind of major tour we did. Was that the one where we were in the Corsa?
Yeah, we went in your wife's Opel Corsa. It was absolutely packed to the wall, and there wasn't any space to move or do anything. And I remember thinking, as we were coming through customs, you're more than welcome to have a look, but you can put it all back. And sure enough, they opened the boot and just went, that's fine.
Yeah, I remember that vaguely. That was quite. But then the next one we did was the 3-week tour that started in Scotland, and then we had to get the ferry from Amsterdam to Newcastle. Most of our tours start, which we realized was a very dangerous thing, start on the ferry from Amsterdam to Newcastle. And bearing in mind, a lot of people in Newcastle consider the ferry to be just another bar or nightclub. To go out for a few drinks in North Shields and wake up in Amsterdam is an entirely plausible thing to happen. And we did that in reverse, didn't we? I mean, first time on that ferry, I remember getting on.
I remember it well. I remember sitting there, and we were waiting to leave, and we were all excited because it was a 3-week tour. And I think the first gig was in Edinburgh, the Wee Club, the Wee Club. And I remember us sitting in the bar, and a group of guys in those big condom suits, all dancing past us. A lot of mad Geordies on their way back from Amsterdam. And I remember sort of like getting into the sort of probably the third or the fourth pint of gross. And I remember thinking, I'm quite drunk, you know. And I was thinking, I wonder how far we've actually gone. And I looked out the window, and we were still in the harbour. We hadn't even left.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we got on board nice and early. What happened was, as we walked into the bar to have a look, some guy came up with a tray and said, "Whiskey tasting, boys." And we thought, God, what harm could that do? You know. 5 o'clock in the afternoon, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Yeah, we thought, we must be almost there. And we looked out the window, we were still in Amsterdam. So, it just carried on like that. It was Halloween. So
that's right. Yeah, we woke up feeling absolutely horrendous, and felt very, very ill, and a little bit, you know, obviously it's not the most professional way to approach a tour is to turn up absolutely hanging, but sometimes it's just not avoidable. There was such a great atmosphere in the bar, and we always take our instruments pretty much wherever we go. So if we're out, you know, we in bars or whatever, or on the ferry, it's just to pass the time. So inevitably a session kicked off, and we just had some great tunes and got everybody singing along, and that was that. And then, you know, we were kind of thinking, I hope the first gig's not too kind of intense, you know. And when we got there, it's like the smallest room you could possibly imagine, and you know the audience were literally like there, and we were feeling absolutely terrible, but it was a great gig, as I remember.
It was certainly good fun. Yeah, we got offered a gig on the ferry once, and one time we joined in with some other guy's gig as well. I remember he was singing Roxanne, just playing guitar and singing Roxanne, and we were doing all the backing vocals, feeling like we were in the police. It was great.
About to get picked up by the police.
Yeah, so the ferry, we did eventually learn from our mistakes, but before that, I think we did 2-3 tours and always fell into the same trap. And there was one we were in my rusty, we always had like dodgy vehicles, and we were in my rusty van. And after one of those ferry journeys, I remember, I'll treat you to a chorus of it again. Here we go, memory lane. I remember on a journey up to Falkirk from somewhere, I don't know where we were.
Probably from like
you were driving, and I wrote
South Coast.
Yeah. So I wrote a spoof version of Fast Car by Tracy Chapman called Rusty Van, which was about our tour. I won't sing it all because I can't remember it, but it was just basically about how stupid we are. So here's the chorus. So let me get into it. So instead of Fast Car, Rusty Van. Remember we were driving in my van, listening to Sting and Steel Eye Span. Tried to flirt with the border guard, but she saw us coming from 50. I said, I had a feeling that beer was strong. I had a feeling we stayed out too long, out too long, out too long. And so on. There must be a video of that somewhere on the internet.
Yeah,
you were filming me singing it in a hotel room somewhere, and just giggling away to yourself.
yeah. Happy days. It's very intense amount of time to spend with any one person. 3 weeks in a van, and we were doing a tour of folk clubs, so we were generally staying with people privately, and which was great because you was one of the nice things about it, because you got to meet lots of interesting people every single day. Different.
Yeah, and they all got to meet us as well. Yeah.
But sometimes we'd even have to share a room, or sleep on the floor or whatever, and character building stuff.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And but character, like you said, character meeting stuff. We met a lot of great characters, and went on a lot of crazy drives. On the German one, we were talking about crazy drives from the north coast of Germany down to Switzerland. Our kind of UK equivalent would probably be Stonehaven in Aberdeenshire, down to somewhere near Plymouth, if I remember.
Yeah, that's right.
Luckily, there was a day off in between, because that would just be otherwise impossible. Yeah. But I remember we set off fairly early in the morning, and we stayed at your mum's place. She was living in the Midlands at the time. And I just remember banging my head on the dashboard of the van as we arrived in Halesowen, just thinking, we've got to do this all again tomorrow before we get to this pub. Yeah.
Pretty intense.
And then you arrive, and then you've got to be kind of all zappy and zingy on stage. It's pretty exhausting 3 weeks.
Yeah.
You have to have a gig every day, otherwise you lose money. So it's quite funny, because people go, "Oh, do you want to come for some drinks?" And you just think, "No,
I'm really tired.
I want to sleep."
Yeah, but musically, it's a good way to get yourself fit musically and tight, and playing every day for 3 weeks constantly, and in that environment. Also, a lot of the folk gigs were acoustic concerts, so it's all bare and it's all open, so there's no sound system to make you sound bigger and better. So there's all the challenges of that as well. Sometimes acoustics might not be good in a room or something like that, but it was very 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 good experience, and like training, musical training.
Yeah, absolutely. And also playing, in these folk clubs, there quite often be sort of really musicians that we really admire in the audience as well. So it makes you focuses the mind a lot. And at festivals as well. I mean, we're talking about the tours here, but we've been to festivals and ended up making friends with other bands and stuff. But just thinking of the folk clubs, I remember the one in Reading International Solidarity Centre. The title of building the folk club is it's Ready Folk in Reading. We've done it a couple of times, but it's in the Reading International Solidarity Centre. Why is that? You know what story I'm referring to now.
Yeah. Because we're based in Germany, so we do our shows in German, and we do a lot of talking on stage, and we have various stories attached to various songs, and we always have to translate them. And I attempted to tell the story because the song "Here We Go Again," which is kind of a it's an anti-racist, anti-fascist song, if you like. And so my eldest son Till is was and still is, but at that time more so a bit of a punk, and he was on the demos against the AfD, the kind of the right-wing party in Germany. And I tried to tell the story, and I can't remember how I did it, but I just managed to kind of make the story. What I wanted to say is that my son was fighting right-wing extremism, and he was at the demos, and I was very proud of him, but I'd kind of missed like an important word that made I actually said that my son was a Nazi.
Basically, yeah, it was quite interesting to watch. I
finished, and I'm very proud of him. And there was nothing from the audience, and I just thought, "Oh my God, what have I done?" Like nothing came from the audience, and then Andrew just popped in and said, "What he meant was."
You forgot to say it was the counter demonstration.
Exactly.
You started telling the story that it was a right-wing demonstration came into your town, and your son was right at the front with a megaphone shouting, and you were a very proud father. And there was absolute silence of horror in the audience, and they were all just looking at you, thinking, "Who is this guy?" And I just sort of thought I'd better save his bacon here. And what Mark forgot to mention is that it was the counter demonstration that Till was attending and seemingly leading. And then they loved us again. Okay. Yeah, so it could be tricky. It could be tricky if you forget to mention an important detail when you're speaking in public, as we've often found out.
It wasn't easy, and it sounds ridiculous because it's English is my mother tongue, but it was quite difficult. When we live in a foreign country, and German is the first language, obviously, but so it's really difficult to kind of to translate. I found it really hard. The first gigs were really tough. You'd kind of stand there and sound like Manuel the waiter from Faulty Towers.
Yeah. I just caught a comment. Sorry, folks. You're all sending us comments. Thanks very much. I'm kind of reading them and then just kind of continuing. But just saw Andy May wrote, "This is great. Ever missed a ferry?"
Yeah.
Well, now you mention it, yeah, that was really stupid, wasn't it? We were trying to get the ferry home after a long tour from Newcastle, and just sitting at my parents' house drinking tea and working out how long we'd need. And obviously we stock up on stuff that we can't get in Germany: tea bags, cheddar cheese, Marmite. And we sort of planned to go to a supermarket beforehand and planned it badly. So we thought we were, we've got an hour in the supermarket and then we'll drive, got stuck in traffic on the way out to the coast, and ended up watching our ferry leave. And it's once every 2 days as well. So the reason Andy reminded us of that is because I rang him and said, "Can we stay in your place tonight, because we've just missed the ferry," which he found very, very amusing. So we all went out for a few drinks and a fantastic curry, and it made it all worthwhile.
A happy accident, one might say.
Yeah, that was great fun, actually. Great evening. What else have we got on the list? Well, friendships. I mean, I suppose more with festivals. When you play your own gigs, you get to see posters of other bands, or every now and again there'll be a double header. I remember we played a a double header, I think, with the Willows. Is that how we got to know them? No, that was Ely Folk Festival.
Yeah.
The first time we did that, we got to know a band, young band called the Willows, and we became good friends. And they're very active, and they've come over to Germany a few years back.
Yeah, not just musicians, or as I said before, on the folk circuit, we stayed privately with a lot of people, and I've ended up staying in contact with quite a few people as well. And we've their hospitality is pretty amazing, really. I wouldn't let me in my house. To be honest, I was pretty brave.
Okay, yeah. I mean, there's look at the comments. For example, Steve Sheldon saying, "Hello, chaps, G&T." Talking of great hospitality.
Speaking of great curries as well, yeah.
Oh yeah, all those things, yeah. And Jolyon Holroyd, our videographer.
Well, he's
photographer and videographer.
Everything to us, really, isn't he, Jolyon?
Yeah.
He does our photos. Fantastic photographer. He's done videos for us, and he's a creative advisor and a spiritual advisor as well. He's a bit of a guru.
He is, yeah. Frances Smith, your mum.
Oh yeah, she's a good guru as well.
Yeah. I mean, let's just a big shout out to our mums when we come and do UK tours. We do tend to sort of drive quite a lot of miles to go and stay with them, of course, with our parents to meet up and see them, obviously, but also to eat their food.
It's just the food for me, really.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, mentioning all the great people, all the great musicians and friends and everything. We'll be here for hours. I mean, that's one. It's a long way to go. It doesn't make financial sense at all. But it's
never
just,
has. No,
we've
never have.
Come back with a warm, fuzzy feeling inside from all the people we don't get to see very often, and we've met and had great times with. And yeah, the people letting you I mean, they do that everywhere. People taking you into their house after a gig. People who've never met you before, they don't know who you are most of the time, and they just sort of and quite often they weren't at the gig either because they're part of the club, but they've not been able to go to the gig because they've come home from work late or whatever, and you just sort of get dropped off at someone's house and introduce yourself, and they give you a drink, have a chat, and then you go and sleep in their house, and then they give you breakfast. It's just amazing. We could be anyone. So the trust inside the folk scene is great. Yeah, people give keys to their house to us when we're at festivals. Here's the key to the
house. There's the tea.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah. Well, how are we doing for time? Oh, we've seriously overrun. I thought we might do on that one. So next week we're back in German. On some subject or other. We're going to be re-releasing a song. Do you want to mention that, Mark?
Yeah, the from the Wine from a Mug album, a song called "The Empire Windrush," which is obviously about the Windrush generation, and we just did a remix of it. Andrew remixed it. We're still the gig situation, playing live is treacherous to say the least, and we're just looking at ways to keep ourselves going financially. So we had an idea. Andrew's remixed, and we've added some new stuff to the song, and that's going to go up on Bandcamp with the same principle as before, as we did with Splendid Isolation. So there'll be a small fixed price, and then you'll be invited to donate as much as you want. So we'll have the same sort of thing with that. Yeah,
and there'll be a live internet concert coming up soon as well. So watch out for all of that. Stay in touch. See you next week in German, and in 2 weeks' time in English again. Take care of yourselves.
And a big thank you to Steve Sheldon and all the people that have put us up and let us change our socks.
Yeah. Sorry if we left any.
Yeah, if there are any more socks hanging around, just Post them over.
Okay, take care, everyone.
Take care.
See you
Bye-bye.
soon.
See you soon.
And share this around. We want to take over the world.